Oh, I need to try to do that too.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the deferred sales trust, is the best way to eliminate the need for the 1031 exchange, defer millions of dollars in capital gains tax on the sale of cryptocurrency, businesses, real estate, so you can create and preserve more wealth or help your clients do the same. Hey, we're also streaming on Expert CRE Secrets, where we bring on some of the best real estate, entrepreneurial, and business minds to talk about how to level up their brokerage capability and helping to unleash unmatched value through the eXp model. And so this is kind of a dual show where we're talking about some investment real estate, some deals, as well as the eXp model and how you might benefit from that. And so I'm excited about our next guest, and he's out of the great state of Texas. I feel like anyone I've met from Texas, I just get along with, and they're great. And I love it too that he played football growing up, so much so that he went to Texas, a big Texas A&M school, and then went on to play for the Green Bay Packers. And then he got inspired to take all of his expertise of discipline and commitment to the real estate world. Keller Williams for a short period of time, and now and he had his own brand, and now he's taken his own brand into eXp. But more than that, I would consider him like a Hall of Famer in that he's closed over 6,000 transactions, and he actually invests in real estate himself, which is not a lot of agents do that. And I'm proud to have him on the show. Please welcome to the show with me, Terrence Murphy. Terrence, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Brett, for having me. I'm excited to be on the show and looking forward to what we're going to dive into.
Absolutely. And for our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give us a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Yeah, man. Born and raised in East Texas, which is a rural country town outside of Tyler. Came to Texas A&M on a football scholarship. Was able to play and start and be two-time team captain, two-time first team all conference, top draft pick, blah blah blah. Right. So I was able to have a really good career at Texas A&M. Got drafted to the Packers in the first two rounds of the draft. Went in the second round. Ended up having a neck injury my rookie year. I retired and became a real estate entrepreneur. So I've been investing and developing real estate. We have 20 companies, or I think right at 22 now, that we own and run, and we're investing in over 50 companies because we invest in the startups too. So yeah, man, really focused right now on expanding our brand. We ran an independent brokerage, and like you said earlier, we got to 6,300 transactions. Pretty much just say 6,000 and 1.1 billion in volume by ourselves as a startup company. And we just merged with eXp, and we're excited about the opportunity to be a part of the family.
Phenomenal. Yeah. And we're going to dive into all of that and that story on the eXp and your brand and what you're doing there. But before we get there, Terrence, I want to go one other step back. I want you to go back to high school Texas football days, the Friday Night Lights, right? You before the big college days. And, I believe we've all been given certain gifts in this life, and these gifts have been given to us to be a blessing and help to others. Some people call them strengths. Some people call them superpowers. I believe they're God-given gifts, and they've been given to us to help others and bless others. So I'm curious, what are those one or two gifts that you believe you were given, and how does that help how you help and bless people today?
Visionary is one. Reading the book Traction and Rocket Fuel, I've learned that visionaries are hard to come by. And I've always been a visionary. I've always been a dreamer. I thought it was a dreamer, but now I've become an entrepreneur, and I can see business moves and I can see ideas before other people can see them. And I have to, pitch them on it. And then when it comes to fruition, they're like, oh, this is what it would look like to develop your own neighborhood of modern houses. Oh, this is what it looks like to start a brokerage and scale it to $1 billion in sales. This is what it looks like. So I'm like, but I saw that like 7 years ago. So visionary is a gift that I use now to try to bring people along with the vision and try to use it to impact people and make sure that they can be the best version of themselves. Also, too, I've learned that discipline and processes is something that's a gift of mine. Just teaching people how to achieve greatness or success, whatever they're trying to pursue. That is very hard for people. And I saw it back as an athlete. I had so many high school teammates. Everybody wanted to go to college to play football. But the people who put the day in and day out processes in place, and obviously there are some other things that go along with it, are the ones that achieve that dream. So I've taken that experience from high school and then transitioned it into business and life.
Amazing. So let's take those two things: being a visionary, right, and also taking the action to do that, but also doing the practical day to day of teaching and disciplining in the processes, right? And let's apply that for the unmatched, unlocking the unmatched value for EXP. So talk about that, right? You're this Hall of Famer, rock star, over 1 billion in sales, and you got your huge brand, and you're in Texas, and you're crushing it. And all of a sudden, someone comes knocking on your door, and they're like, "Hey, Terrence, why don't you come check this thing out at EXP, right? Talk about before and after." And what was so attractive for you, and how does it unlock value for your agents and for your clients?
It starts with EXP gave me an opportunity to give everybody in my organization a seat at the table, period. It's always been when you become a real estate agent, you want to scale and grow, then you want to grow a team, then you want to become a broker, right? That's just the usual basic transition. But as the broker, I didn't have a way to give them equity. I didn't have a way to give them rev share. I didn't have a way to help them build their organization. And that model, when I really sat down and studied it, because years ago, Elizabeth Riley, Brent Grove, Gene Frederick, all of the Hall of Fame people called me. And I even had friends that started going over, Kyle Wizzle, a couple other independent brokers that I knew, just being a top broker in the state. But when I looked at everything, I mean, at that time when I made the decision, I was talking personally with Gary Keller. I was talking to Compass. I was talking to Berkshire. I was talking to everybody out there because we were an independent. But the model of being able to give those revenue streams and the equity in the way that you can help other people have a seat at the table. Once I saw that model, it's second to none.
Yeah, and as a part of EXP commercial myself, I had a not as big of a luxurious career with an independent brand, but I was at Marcus and Millichap, and I
Right.
remember giving 50% away of the commissions, not having a seat at the table, not getting any stock, not getting any revenue share, right? Not being on the right side of the quadrant. If you study the rich dad, poor dad model, right? Business owner, investor versus just W-2 employee or self-employed. And when you understand that and it clicks, it's like nothing you've seen before. But it took me a while to even take my, let's say, my have an open mind, or take my pride off, or the false beliefs that I had in my mind. But what was you said you were talking to these people, they're all calling you, these guys are all Hall of Famers in their own right, right? But what was it that finally, what did you have to do in order to I guess become a believer, if you will?
I think it took me, after running my independent brokerage, leading it, scaling it, growing it. I did all the training. And I was at the time only hiring brand new agents, and we know they take a lot. And I just honestly, the liability, I started seeing the Texas lawsuits getting crazy. The funding that you needed in order to provide the right technology for your agents. And everybody knows, like, I'm going to study and I'm going to work and I'm going to travel. Like, no one will ever be out in front of me. I'm pretty innovative, but I'm a realist. And when I started looking at the funds that it takes to truly build the platform and build the other options that agents needed in order to scale, I said, man, it didn't make sense for me as the broker. So I'm still a broker in the state of Texas, but I was able to offload a lot of the liability in the training. It's 80 hours of live training every week at eXp. A lot of that stuff, I'm not having any more conversations about how to write a contract. And so it's been life changing.
That's amazing, right? I love that Glenn had a vision, because he was an agent like us starting out in Seattle before the 2008 crash, and he's going, man. And then everything hits the fan. He's like, I think there's a better way. He had a vision, right? He took courage and he went after it. Just like you did, from college football or high school football to college to the NFL. But he put these processes in place, right? And he didn't let the maybe the pride or the status quo stand in the way, right? So now that you've done this, right? And also before we go there, the seat at the table I think is really important, right? When you give opportunities for people to be owners alongside with you, talk about that kind of that alignment financially, and becoming like a family with people that you're doing business with, right? Versus just like a colleague or someone that you're competing with in the office, right? Talk about that camaraderie and how that creates that team atmosphere for your organization.
Yeah, they say your vibe attracts your tribe. And I can say, there's been a lot of people that are seeing what we're doing. I mean, you got to remember, I've only been at eXp for what, 8 months, but we're in 18 states, 2 countries. I'm at 60 frontline agents and well over 100 in my first 7, 8 months. So I don't know where that compares to what everybody else was doing. I'm just running my own race. But what I can say is the vibe that we're creating is second to none.
Fantastic. So now let's transition to the overall
Real quick too, Brett. I
Yeah,
don't
go
want to
ahead.
cut you off. I want to make sure I live stream this to my audience, bro. And I know we're live.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
um,
take that. And as he's doing that, if you want to learn more about the EXP model and you want to talk with Terrence, you can head over to his website, which is terrencemurphy.com. If you want to talk about EXP commercial and other areas as well, I'm a part of EXP. Terrence has a bigger, better brand in that sense. I got some capital gains tax reform, some cool stuff with the 1031 exchange, but we're all part of this EXP family. And which is cool is we get to podcast and share stories and share insights and share secrets and collaborate across the country and now moving to the world, multiple countries, with all of our gifts and talents, which is part of what I learned very quickly. It's not just the model, it's not just the seat at the table, but it's feeling like it's a part of a family. You're doing this thing together, right? And they truly do care about us as agents and being a part of something that's bigger than ourselves. So to me, Terrence, it's like a movement. It's not just another like add-on, right? It is the Amazon versus Old Circuit City. It is the Netflix versus Blockbuster, but it's a movement across the world that's changing real estate forever. So just speak to how much bigger than when you first got into it. You're like, oh, okay, this is cool, right? I can save on technology, or I can help my agents a little bit better. But talk about now that it's been 8 months, are you becoming even more of a believer than you when you first started?
I am. And real quick on the update on the website, it's just, if you want to hear more about what we're doing in our organization, it's just jointm5.com. So just join and then TM, just like on the hat, digit5.com. But yeah, man, I think since I've been here in 8 months, Michael Valdez is an animal. I knew him when I was at Leading RE. You know, he was at Sotheby's, and I was talking to Sotheby's about putting a franchise here in Bryan College Station because there is no Sotheby's in Central Texas. And we kind of dominate the $1 million plus listings around here. Like last year, I did 17 $1 million transactions by myself. And in College Station, when I have a sales price of $250, selling 17 $1 million properties is not normal. But I say that to say, I knew of Sotheby's and I knew of Michael. And obviously he came over to eXp to lead the eXp Global. That part to me that's one of the most amazing pieces to the puzzle. We have a 50-point value proposition that we go over. We took eXp and we took TM5 and we said, here's our 50-point value proposition. It's a lot. And it really is, because if you think about it, that means you can know an agent in all 50 states and in 20 countries right now, which will be more. And if you have a relationship with them, if they're a family member and you want to help them, you want to partner with them, you can literally do that in 1 week. Just that in itself is not normal.
Yeah, it's amazing. And for those who may not know Michael Valdez, he's a Hall of Famer when it comes to like international and luxury. And he's fantastic. And that's part of what I learned too. The longer I've been in with EXP, the quality of leadership, entrepreneurial spirit, open mind, technology, moving forward, right? Not the old model. And then really, how do we put the agent first? How do we take so good care of the agent and bless them so much so they can go and just bless their clients even more, right? And that's the thing that you can't experience until I really got along and I was a part of it, because I was a skeptical person. I was like, hey, I don't know. But my buddy was, I'd known him in my college days. I was playing some college hoops on scholarship, which was cool. And he was the golf coach at a small Christian school here in Northern California. And we're playing together. And he was Coldell Banker. He was KW. And then he called me, and this is like a year and a half ago. And I'm like, what? I thought that was just like MLM, or I thought that was something crazy. Like I really didn't look at the model or meet anybody before, like 5 years prior. But then I said, look, I'm going to trust you. And he told me Tom Daves is in. I'm like, Tom Daves? Tom Daves is like sold 7,000 transactions at KW. He was number one in the world 7 different times at KW. I go like, maybe I'm missing something. Like I need to take, and take a look at this. So I'm going to go. I'm going to give it a shot. I go, I'm not recruiting, and I'm just going to sell I'm going to sell commercial real estate. I'm going to sell the deferred sales trust. And I looked at him in the eye, and they're like, okay, no problem. I'm like, really? They're not blinking the eye there. Started to attend the mastermind, started to get to know the people. I felt like every week it just got better and better and better. Flew to Cabo. I'm like, oh my gosh, like these are my people. I wish I would have known earlier. So talk to the person right now who's like skeptical or even like, no, it seems like it's the future, but I'm just going to hold on to where I'm at. I'm comfortable where I'm at right now. Talk to that person right now.
Well, it just takes one example, right? I can give you 50, but just look at Verbella and the way that we communicate, right? A cloud-based brokerage. When you heard that 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 9 years ago, even 2 years ago, before the pandemic, right? People were laughing about it. I even remember seeing some quotes that it's Donkey Kong technology, whatever it is. And, but now fast forward and you look up COVID, and people are stuck and they can't get community and they're not set up to train and be in the world and do all those things, right? And it takes the Facebooks of the world and the Elon Musk of the world to give it a name, metaverse and meta and cryptocurrency, all these things. But if you really look at the metaverse, whether it's Sandbox, Decentraland, or whatever, EXP's been meeting in the metaverse for years, right? And so I don't know. Somebody said that Glenn was at Inman, and he said, "Oh, it's not the metaverse. No, it's the metaverse. Like we're meeting in the metaverse, and we need to know that and accept that." And we were one of the innovator real estate brokerages on how to meet without being in person. And so I think that just that example tells you where the company is headed, how far ahead it is, and it's crazy because I was literally in the metaverse and I saw a franchise brokerage bragging about now they have an office in the metaverse. And I'm not going to say the franchise name, but I'm like, y'all are like 10 years behind what eXp's been doing. And that just goes to show the innovation and some of the other things that we're working on that I know isn't even public knowledge yet.
I can't help but correlate that with your vision, being a visionary yourself, right? And going earlier. Although you just joined 8 months ago, you're probably going, man, I wish I'd joined 5 years ago. But there's different timings, different reasons for all those things. It's not. I don't want to make it so simple, but I do want to encourage those that have these, roadblocks. Well, talk with Terrence or I. Like literally, like how do you solve that? Like it's in a Rubik's cube, and you got to get some stuff to line up. Well, get some help with that, right? Don't just get caught in what you're doing in the grind of just closing deals and doing deals, right? Look at the bigger picture and how can this serve your community, your tribe, your people, your clients ultimately, and realize that there's a reason we're on here even talking about this, right? Because it is that amazing. But that being said, I want to shift into 1031 exchanges and cryptos because you're also an investor as well, right? And I'm curious.
Brett, can I
go ahead, Terrence. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we shift?
Yeah.
I want to say this. I think this is very important. If you are entertaining EXP, right, you need to look up Brett. You need to study him. You need to call him. You need to talk to him. You need to look up whoever you're thinking about joining under, because I will say, this is something I've noticed. I keep getting so many calls from people at EXP saying, can I join your organization? And they're like, I see what you're doing. I'm on Clubhouse with you. I heard your podcast. I heard about your coaching business. I see what you're giving, like what you're doing for your organization. Can I join? I'm like, you're already a part. You're already a part of somebody's organization. So I would just say, like he said earlier, if you're considering it, just do your due diligence and make sure you are a part of the right organization. That's very important. So
100%. Align your business with the people in the future. And I'm eXp commercial. He's eXp residential, although he does investments too. He's in Texas. I'm in California. At the end of the day, this helps both of us. So reach out to both of us, talk with us. We're here to encourage you and bring more into the family. And so that being said, 1031's in crypto, right? So part of what we do here at Capital Gains Tax Solutions, which is my company, we help people eliminate the need for the 1031 exchange. But sometimes 1031s can be, frustrating, right? Or they don't work for these high-end primary homes that you're selling 17 of them for $1 million, right? And people are like, I only have a 121 exclusion. So I'm curious, what's the biggest frustration for you or your clients when it comes to the 1031 exchange? Is it something like you wish crypto could be 1031 exchange? Like, what's kind of your idea there?
Yeah, I think Bitcoin, crypto, Ethereum, Solana, the list goes on. That's coming strong to the real estate space. And if you're not looking at it, if you're not studying the metaverse, if you're not studying cryptocurrency, you're fooling yourself. It's coming. So let's just put that out there. We said it here first. Because I'm blown away at how many realtors are saying, well, it really won't affect us. No, this is coming our way. So get ready. But yeah, 1031s, I would say the biggest struggle we have, because I sell a lot of ranches too. So in Texas, 1,500 acre ranches, they want a 1031 out of it. There's obviously a lot going on there. Trying to identify the right property in a market where there's no inventory. That's the struggle we're having right now when we're selling these multifamily big ranches or these high net worth homes. Is where do we move our equity into, and do we have the time to identify the right property?
Yeah, I call that the shotgun wedding, right? You know, those friends that got married real quick, engaged and married fast. You got 45-day engagement. You got 180 days to get married, right? And sometimes you overpay, right? And you don't find that deal that you want to buy. And you're basically letting the tax tail wag the investment dog. And then you couple that with the baby boomers, Terrence. This is kind of staggering. Like there's literally about $32 trillion that's going to pass from the baby boomers to the millennials in the next 20 years. And this is known as the largest wealth transfer in the history of the planet. 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 every day, 77 million in the US alone. Then you say all-time highs in the stock market, real estate values, crypto until the last like month and a half or so, it's kind of dropped, right?
Hey, Bitcoin's back up over 40 today.
Is it? Okay, all right. It's back, baby. So all that being said, we have a solution for this, and I'm curious what you think. I don't know if you ever heard about this thing, but we call it the Netflix to the old Blockbuster. You know how like eXp is the Netflix to the old school brokerage model? Well, we have a thing called a deferred sales trust. It's not a Delaware statutory trust. It's not a TIC. It's not a 1031. In fact, it allows you to exit out of cryptocurrency, public or private stock, primary homes, ranches, businesses, real estate. Remember, a 1031 Blockbuster only works for investment real estate. It doesn't work for any of those other assets. The cool thing is once you're there, the funds can be invested with you, all tax deferred, whenever you want, into real estate, okay? And to me, like it blew my brain. I'm sitting at Marcus and Millichap. I'm like, no. We're the Navy SEALs of multifamily investment, 1031 exchanges, brokerages, all that. And this is 2009. And I felt like I was like one of the only guys like looking around going, do you hear what this guy just said? He just said we have Netflix. He just says we have the metaverse and this tax deferral strategy. And are you guys understanding if this is true and this works, what this means? And so I'll give you a couple deal stories, Terrence, and then I'm curious what you think. So we just did a deal where she worked for a top tech company in California. She's in her 20s. She bought Bitcoin for about 50,000. And guess she never sold. It went to 50 million. Okay, so she has about a 49.9 gain. Okay, so she exited using our trust, right, strategy. Like a 1031, she put it into a business, okay, tax deferred, all tax deferred. So she exited there, right? We have another client. He's building 72 multifamily units in Tennessee. He sold in Alabama for 2.6 million a business. Partnered with it, billing it. We did some clients in Texas, in Lubbock. We got some clients who did some acreage as well. We saved their failed 1031, like your clients who were challenged with that, past their 45-day, we can save it. Like all of these things, but people hear it like the eXp thing. They're like, whoa, is this too good to be true? Where has it been? What's the thing? But I'm curious, had you heard about that? And what are your thoughts on all that?
Man, it's crazy. It's one of those deals where it came across my desk. Because obviously at this point, just being in the NFL and being an entrepreneur now for 15 years and being really pretty much in finance the last 15 years, finance and real estate, I've seen a lot come across my desk, but this one came across my desk a couple of years ago and it did feel that way. It was like, well, man, that seems a little like something's not right. Or, do we got to set it up a certain way? If we don't do it that way, does it come back to hunt us? And now we got to be double taxed. Like, so you're right. I think the thing is with life, and when people don't understand something, it creates fear, uncertainty, and almost that like apprehensiveness, right? And so I think, like you said, with eXp, once you really study the model, then you're like, that makes so much sense. I just had this mental block because people had told me so much negative stuff, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I would love to hear more about it and dive into it, but I haven't.
Yeah, so you go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com for those who are wondering. We also have our crypto DST mastermind every Friday, totally free. Everyone can join. We have real estate, CPAs, professionals, financial advisors, cryptocurrency experts. We had a guy on today, which is kind of cool, Terrence. This guy does artwork. He takes artwork and he makes them into NFTs, right? And then he's selling it out. And he literally was like, well, we have a $69 million deal. We have an $11 million deal. He goes, but I have a $100 million deal that's closing in the next 3 weeks. And I'm like, well, we got to get this thing set up prior to, like, we got to move pretty fast. He's like, I'm going to send you guys so much business. He's in that art world, right? And people are looking to exit well, the NFTs, their Bitcoin, their whatever other coin, diversify, tax deferred, and go do the next thing. So again, people can learn about that by going to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That being said, we're running out of time. So you ready for the lightning round?
Let's go, bro. I'm ready.
All right. Knowing what you know now, if you go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you make sure to tell yourself to do?
Lightning round. Invest more, buy more multifamily.
Yeah, multifamily for sure, right? So you get that cost segregation, you get that accelerated depreciation, you can offset your taxes. That is the best kept secret too for a lot of this. Next question is this: what's the number one book you've recommended or gifted the most in the past year?
Why the Rich Get Richer by Robert Kiyosaki.
Beautiful. Question number three: what's the number one leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by?
Yep. Every problem has a solution. You just have to be creative enough to find it.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I wish the Packers, but I'll go with the Rams.
Okay. Second to last question: what are you most curious about?
What my kids will be like when they grow up. I'm always thinking about them.
How many kids do you have?
3.
Boys, girls?
2 girls and a boy.
Cool. I got 4 girls and a boy, so that's fun. This is a good question. You're a football guy, right? Are they going to play football? What do you think about the head stuff?
Yeah, Junior won't play until 8th grade.
Okay.
And he's an animal. So if you look up my Facebook, watch. He asked me this year to do a highlight, and he did a little highlight reel. It's crazy.
Cool. What position was he going to play?
He'll be a receiver or quarterback like me.
Okay, cool. Last question, Terrence. First of all, thank you for being on the show and going through the lightning round. That was fast. After all your success, NFL, college, football, real estate, all the businesses, I'm curious, what's the number one habit that you try to practice every day to help you stay centered in your values? And how do you also stay encouraged to charge forward to reach new heights?
Can I give you 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
I should give you 3. Keep dreaming. 1 is just keep dreaming. Like there was a season of my life after I got injured, I just wasn't dreaming and it was terrible, right? And I just want people to just keep dreaming. Even if you missed on some things, obviously I didn't get to have the NFL career I had the ability to have. My roommate was Aaron Rodgers. This dude's going to be a Hall of Famer, double MVP, and it wasn't in my card. So just keep dreaming. Number 2 is spend time with people that you truly love and that truly love you, like quality time, like uninterrupted, just sit out on the back patio, do nothing with your lifetime. And then number 3 that I do is meditation and breathing. Everybody talks about hydration. Everybody talks about working out. Everybody talks about sleeping, resting, but they don't talk about breathing and they don't talk about meditation. So I really added that into my forte and it's been amazing.
Amazing. Terrence, for those who want to get in touch with you, would you remind them one last time what's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, so a couple of places. I'm on LinkedIn, so just look me up, Terrence Murphy. I'm on Instagram. My handle is just Terrence Realtor, TERRENCE Realtor, REALTOR. And then also you can find me terrencemurphy.com or our jointm5.com if you got more questions on that.
Thank you, Terrence Murphy. Hey, I'm better for spending time together. I'm sure our audience is too. I want to encourage you to keep being the visionary, to keep teaching people discipline and processes, and keep dreaming, spending time with people you love, and the meditation and breathing. I'm going to take up on that breathing part. I don't quite know yet what that means exactly, but I'll figure that out. But yeah, truly, thank you for being on the show, and I hope to have you again back real soon. And I also want to thank our listeners for listening to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions Podcast, also stream on expertcresecrets.com, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options, or if you're a broker, they struggle with clarifying their brokerage options, right? And we believe that deferred sales trust is the best way to exit, get that Netflix way of exit planning for tax deferral and wealth creation. And likewise, we believe the eXp model is the best way to exit well and build a business in your brokerage career. And it also includes M&A advisors, business brokers. It includes, of course, commercial real estate agents and residential agents. So you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com for the deferred sales trust. You can click with Terrence or me on the eXp model by any of our channels or LinkedIn or Facebook and all that. So thanks so much for watching this. We so appreciate everyone out there. And please rate, review, subscribe, share this with someone who can inspire today. And we will talk to everybody real